Good morning. We learned about Renaissance in the first chapter. Renaissance starts in Italy. Why? That was the question I raised in the first unit. Because of the conquer of Constantinople, philosophers, poets, educations, etc. flew towards Italy and they settled there. Actually, Constantinople was conquered in the year 1453. But long before that, Renaissance starts in Italy. That credit goes to Francisco Petrarch. Francisco Petrarch lived in the year 1304 to 1374. That means in the 14th century. He wrote a lot of poems and books. His famous work is called Secretum. Secretum is actually a very interesting book connected with human life as well as afterlife. It's a dialogue between St. Augustine and Petrarch. And he wrote a lot of poems also. All those poems were connected with the humanism and it is written in Italian language. Francisco Petrarch is called the father of Renaissance, but he was actually influenced by another person. That person is called Dante. Anyway, his works is connected with vernacular language. That means the language connected with the common man. സാധാരണ ജനങ്ങൾ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന ഭാഷയിൽ കാവ്യങ്ങൾ എഴുതി തുടങ്ങി എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഡാന്റെയുടെ പ്രത്യേകത. So he is called as father of Italian language. His famous book is Divine Comedy. Dante was the first person who wrote in vernacular language. That means language used by the common people. And that was a revolution in Italy. Then came Petrarch. Petrarch accelerates the growth of Renaissance. Actually, Dante was the first to start Renaissance. But the title goes to Francisco Petrarch. Another eminent writer was Giovanni Boccaccio. He was contemporary of Francisco Petrarch. He was also a Renaissance humanist. He wrote his works in Latin language. His famous work is well known to everyone, that is the Decameron. He was the first person who wrote in prose. All the others wrote their works in poems. Here the change happens. He wrote in prose. ഗദ്യത്തിൽ എഴുതാൻ തുടങ്ങിയാണ്. That is the difference between Giovanni Boccaccio and the others. His famous book, The Decameron, is actually a collection of 100 stories told by 10 people, 7 young women and 3 young men. It's very interesting stories. It actually reveals the entire background of Italian culture at that particular period. And the hypocrisy lies behind Italian society. ആ കാലഘട്ടത്തിലെ ഇറ്റാലിയൻ സമൂഹത്തിൻ്റെ എല്ലാ കള്ളത്തരങ്ങളും വളരെ വ്യക്തമായി വിളിച്ചു പറയുന്ന രസകരമായ 100 കഥകൾ. 7 സ്ത്രീകളും 3 പുരുഷന്മാരും കൂടി പറയുന്ന ശൈലിയിലാണ് ബൊക്കാഷ്യോ എഴുതിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. അതീവ മനോഹരമായി ആ കാലഘട്ടത്തെ വരച്ചു കാട്ടുന്ന ഗദ്യരൂപത്തിലുള്ള കൃതിയാണ് ദ ഡെക്കാമറൺ. Another famous writer of that period was Cervantes. Cervantes actually belonged to Spain. He wrote his books in Spanish language. His famous book is called The Don Quixote. It was written in the Spanish language but later translated into English. Cervantes was widely known as the greatest Spanish writer, and he was known as one of the first writer in the genre of novel. ആധുനിക നോവലുകളൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടാകുന്നതിന് മുമ്പുള്ള ഒരു നോവൽ രൂപമായിട്ട് ഡോൺ കിക്സോട്ടിനെ നമുക്ക് കാണാം. So we can call Cervantes as a preeminent novelist. But some of historians' opinion is something different. They treat the Don Quixote as the first novel ever written in the entire world. Difference of opinion is there, but some of the historians think so. They call Cervantes as the first novelist in the world. Another important person in that period was Erasmus. He was actually a Dutch Catholic priest. So he wrote a lot of books connected with Christianity as well as philosophy. He was the greatest philosopher in Dutch history. His famous book is In Praise of Folly. So today we learned about the works of 5 eminent scholars as well as writers. They are Dante, പെട്രാക്, സർവാൻറ്റിസ്, ബൊക്കാഷ്യോ ആൻഡ് എറാസ്മസ്. ഇന്ന് നവോത്ഥാനവുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട 5 പേരുടെ കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് നമ്മൾ നോട്ട് ചെയ്തത്. ഡാൻറ്റെ, പെട്രാക്, സർവാൻറ്റിസ്, ബൊക്കാഷ്യോ, എറാസ്മസ്. So questions will come to you in the WhatsApp connected with these persons and their works. Goodbye.